Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to take a look at quite an old figure now, back from 2011, being the Iron Man 2 Mark IV Secret Project. And this figure was a Toy Fair exclusive back in the day, and one of the real first sort of Toy Fair exclusive lines that we got, so it wasn't sort of flushed out as it is now where we get 4 figures usually in a year. Back then I think it was only 3 or 2 at times, so yeah, this was quite a unique figure back in the day, based off the old Mark IV plastic version, whereas now we have the new die-cast mould, which is significantly better than the old mould, so it's caused the prices of this to really drop down. And yeah, for a while it was quite expensive, but as I say, you can kind of get it for a pretty decent price now. And this particular figure is actually for sale, so if you're interested in picking it up, just let me know. But just looking at the box the figure comes in, it's very plain. You just get a Sideshow exclusive logo up there. This pretty flat but quite nice gunmetal grey box with this embossed logo at the front, just stating the Mark IV Secret Project. But apart from that, you really don't get anything. This different shade of silvery grey with this nice slant to the shoebox, but I apologise for the glare. The light box is not as big as I thought it would be, so we have to make do with a little bit of glare for the box, but it is quite a shiny box, so it's worse on the box than the actual figure. So anyway, I think what we'll do now is just get the accessories out and see what he comes with. So just taking a look at the accessories that this figure comes with, you can see actually, we'll start off with the display bases. It comes with 2 display bases, which is quite unusual nowadays, but back in the day these Iron Man figures did used to come with multiple display bases, and I really do like the small oval ones that they used to do with the simple Iron Man 2 logo on the front and the nice plaque with the Mark IV Secret Project written on it. So I would personally use this display base over the enormous Hall of Armour-esque display base. I think these parts move. There are parts to this that move in and out. I think, yeah, they move in and out. So this does light up, so you can install batteries there and light it up. I don't think it has any battery. Oh, it does have batteries in. So it does look nice, but it just has such a large profile that it's not really, unless you have the space, it's not worth the extra space that it takes up. So he also comes with, basically, on both sides he comes with these missile pieces, which are very nice. They're very similar to the ones we get nowadays on the die-cast Mark IV, but obviously for the older release, so you can see the missiles in there. They're all around, so you get them for both, for the whole arm and for the other arm as well. I just haven't got them out all the way, but they're very nicely painted, and you can see all the gold and silver detail in there, so that's a nice, definitely a nice accessory to have. He also comes with just an array of hands. These are just some relaxed hands. The repulsor blast hand hadn't been introduced yet, so the plug isn't angled or anything, it's just a standard hand. And he also comes with the articulated finger hands, so yeah, you can just do whatever you want with these basically. But other than that, he just comes with the fists, which are already installed on the figure. And he also comes with an old Robert Downey Jr. head sculpt, and to today's standards it's not the best, but I think it's still pretty decent for back in the day. It definitely, from certain angles it does look quite nice, but it's just sort of lacking in that textural detail. I think the sculpt is still decent overall, and I do still quite like the hair. I think the hair looks nice, just a little bit soft in places, and a paint app, and a new paint app might actually do wonders to this sculpt. But it comes with the plug that you use for the on the body, and then it also comes with the little glasses which you can put on. So if you like that look, then you can do that. And I think what we'll do now is just get the figure out and see what it looks like. So here's the Mark IV just standing there in the light box, straight up and down, and I think it looks really nice just standing there on its own. You've got some nice paint chips all over the figure to give it that more lived-in look, but it's still this very nice sort of matte, very silky smooth paint detailing all over the figure. in this this grey and this bluey silvery grey colour on the sort of other armour pieces. As you can see, overall it is just that matte grey, and if I just zoom in and take a close look, you can see those silver chips a lot better. The old, obviously it's based off the older figure, so it's not going to be quite as accurate as a modern die-cast release, but it still looks really nice, and just the arc reactor in there looks really good. The whole figure does have a nice presence about it. It's very unique. That, you know, there's nothing quite like this out there at the moment. Obviously the new holographic Mark IV released, but I think this just looks a lot nicer. A lot of the trim lined in that grey or black detailing. I don't think this figure suffers from the rubber panty issue, so you don't have to worry about that with this. You can install lights into the arms and light up the repulsors, but I haven't done that, or any of the light up features for that matter. You can also, as it's an older figure, you get these canisters which move out, and for the flares, but on this one they go in, but as soon as you move the leg they just pop right back out. But yeah, this figure is kind of showing its age. It has a loose leg there, but other than that the joints are still fairly they're not you know, absolutely ratcheted, but they're still pretty good for a 9-year-old figure. And just looking at the waist and the abdomen area, you know, it doesn't, the paint work doesn't quite hold up to modern day standards, but I still think it looks really good, and especially down the feet where you've got more of that silver. If it had more of this silvery detail here and there, I think it would do wonders for this, because they've kind of gone for that clean look, but put the silver details in every sort of now and then. But I think it would look a lot better if they put it all throughout. I mean, as you can see, there's nothing in the abdomen. Even if you extend it, there's nothing in there. So yeah, it's on the back as well. You've got nice, all the paint continues, but again, you're just lacking any of that that paint detail. I haven't actually installed the fins, so they're exposed at the minute, but they do come with the figure. And you can also lift up the back of the calves to give the detail, the inner working details. So yeah, it's just a brief look at the Mark IV. So what I'll do now is get the die-cast Mark IV out here and do a side-by-side comparison. So here we have the die-cast Mark IV out here to do a side-by-side comparison with the Secret Project version, and minus the colour scheme obviously, you can see that the two are very different. There's definitely a certain heft to the new die-cast that the old plastic ones don't have, and the height difference is quite noticeable actually. It's good, you know, a few millimetres taller than the older figures, so it just overall looks a lot more bulky and more natural. I think you kind of can see that a person would fit inside this bulkier suit, especially the helmet. If you look, this one is a lot larger and looks like a head would fit inside, you know. If I have this here, it doesn't particularly look like even for this sculpt it's going to fit into the older, skinnier helmet design. So yeah, it's just a lot more bulky, the new one, and that's not to say that the old one's bad. It still looks nice compared. The legs aren't actually too different. They might have even reused a couple of pieces from this older release for the new one, but yeah, that's them side by side. Obviously the paintwork is the main difference between the two. I think that the Secret Project does look different enough to actually warrant having it in your collection, and it doesn't, you don't automatically look at these two and think that's the same suit, unless you're someone that obviously knows the suits very well, but they're different enough to warrant having this version in your collection. And it's an older exclusive version, so it's nice to pick up figures like this every now and then to just, you know, see how the times have changed and really just look back on what Hot Toys used to do. So yeah, next we'll just cover the articulation of the figure. So just going over articulation of the figure, you actually have a head joint which is on a ball joint, but also, as you can see, this one comes off quite easily. So you get a base ball joint and an upper head ball joint. So if it stays on, then you get a decent range of motion, but yeah, it doesn't always want to stay on. So you also have the arms, which can rotate. They rotate pretty unrestricted. You just have to be careful of the armour plating. They swivel and they bend at the elbow about 90 degrees. You're not getting any more than that because the armour blocks it. And you have a regular wrist peg joint. The flaps can move around and articulate to give you a bit more freedom of movement. The waist also rotates quite well, and you're not getting a lot of the base, but you can extend it and rotate it even more forward and back motion as you'd expect. You can move the arms forward, forward to about there. You can't really go much further than that even if you rotate, and you could push this this plastic piece under the rubber if you really wanted to get a bit of extra motion, and they go back about there, which is it's pretty decent. So you're getting a double bend at the knee, just collapses in nicely, getting over 90 degrees there, and you also get a foot joint which swivels and rotates. So yeah, that's the articulation for the figure. Just wrapping up on the Mark IV Secret Project, I think this figure is really nice, and it's a good one to have if you're into the older, more classic suits. I don't think they're going to remake this in the die-cast form. They might do we've got the neon tech and we've got the new holographic one, so they might redo a colour scheme like this in the future, but for now this is the only one you can get, and if you're a hardcore fan, this is obviously one that you're going to want to pick up, because for a long time it was one that people struggled to get hold of because it was so pricey. But nowadays, when the prices have dropped, I'd say you only really need it if you really look at it and you just absolutely love it. It's obviously not an essential piece, and I don't think that if you're casually collecting hot toys, this definitely isn't one that you need. So with that said, I'd just like to thank you for watching. Join the Discord if you haven't already, and please leave a comment below to let me know what you think. So I'll see you in the next video.